Something here. Okay, so I built the skills off of this mapping of players. And this is because players within their skill sets are within these rankings are how players are kind of valued in the NFL, right? So you got um, defensive tackles and nose tackles are kind of grouped together. I mean, their skill sets are kind of interchangeable. They're defensive tackles, right? They're all DTs. Defensive ends tend to be higher valued. They tend to be taken in. So their skills and stats are defensive end level. It doesn't mean that it's just what they're better at, and they tend to get higher salaries. So I group them according to that. Um, Same thing with left tackle and right tackle. Tackles tend to get paid a little bit more than like centers, and LS is long snapper. They're kind of in the same grouping. I don't know why I have long snapper. Well, I guess they're both centers together, I guess. Long snapper and centers. So I kind of group them together. Although centers tend to get paid a little bit more than long snappers, but they're in they have the same kind of base skills. Guards are their own. So that's why these guys all got broke up. This way, when the skills are built, they're grouped as that set, right? Um, One of the things I'm kind of torn on because I'm going to allow players to be um, put into any position. But since all these players are getting balanced according to their same group, they're not going to get balanced against each other, which is a problem, isn't it? Because that would mean that what could happen is theoretically a higher value. I mean, in other words, if they all have the same set of skills, if every player has the same set of skills, technically every player should be balanced against every player, right? I mean, the problem with that strategy is that every player does get the values, right? But they get balanced in that category against their own group of people. So they have their own what is the going rate for a particular person at this position. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like if I go here and I go look at the base position for like say big play potential. This is one of my skill sets. So I have the QBs have their own big play potential because they have different big plays. There's different things that rank them. And the same goes for like linebackers and offensive line or inside and outside linebackers, which are really just linebackers. Um, which is actually kind of a bad choice of things here because there could be MLBs and LBs. I gotta see. There's things I gotta fix here. I don't know. And this is other. This is everybody else because these players actually have big play things: long runs, big catches, big passes, touchdowns. Inside and outside linebackers have a lot of sacks, I guess. That's probably why I broke them up. And then everybody else just kind of gets ranked the same, but it's mostly because they all have the same thing. If you're a CB, if you're a DB, an LB, whatever, you're just going to get a set of uh, big play options, things that can happen. So you have your get total touches, and then games played, base position, and then we go down here and we start calculating things like these are the receiving big plays. This is going to be wide receivers and tight ends, and you got big plays for QBs, running backs, defensive big plays, and then so anyway, it's kind of based on your group of people that you're in. Well, down here on my, can you even see my mouse on this? You can't even see my mouse on this. So if I look at this, if I want to show you my mouse. um, these are the groupings that I'm grouping so you can view them all together, right? So you can see all your QBs, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the way down the line. To see them as their own group of people. So when you want to look at them all together, but the thing is, I got to give all players a grouping, but this is their grouping. Which means I end up with 3 types of groupings. Because what happens is I look at my group here and I have, let's see, let's go back to here. And I have my base position, which is all these guys. These are the ones I'm using for skill separations. And then I have underneath my system init, I've got my plays. I think it's this one. Offensive plays, for example. So I go look at offensive plays. And they have... oh, no, I'm sorry, not play, offensive plays. It's route actions. Yeah, okay, so these have a position group, which are like WRT, O, WRT, WRT. And then I have I think I even have a salary position group. So when I'm calculating their salaries, they have their own separate thing because fullbacks are not in the running back group as salaries go. Fullbacks are in the fullback group or in the draft group. So if I go to leagues, let's see, this is player skills. But if I go over to leagues, I'm pretty sure this search was, yeah, it's player skills. Okay, so if I go back here and then go to my leagues collection, and, or not leagues collection, league service, players. Leagues has their own function, I believe, that kind of does the same thing right here. These are salary groupings and also how we draft the team. So this is where you separate things like OLB, ILB, blah, 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 blah. So this is actually the 3rd type of grouping, which is, so the difference between like route actions, the route action groupings are the things that those players would do, and they're likely to have those during running a route. So tight ends and wide receiver are in the R, or the receiver grouping. And then, so it's just a problem. Just let me just get right out there and say it's a problem. I end up with 3 different ones, which makes it confusing. This is actually position requirements for team building. Let's say team drafting. Position requirements for team building /draft. And so these are built differently as well. So you have a certain number. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to have these, but these are just how I'm drafting them. So every team's going to have these requirements to get drafted. It's just the way I set it up. These are kind of like the normal average. This is what most teams have in their setup. But not everybody's got a fullback. Not everybody's got. Most have a long snapper, but not many. And some might draft 2 QBs or 3 QBs or whatever. There's a different number, slight variation, but I had to come up with something for my standard build. This is just the standard build, and it can change up. To keep the game, I'm not totally sure how to handle. Let's not say that. I want to allow people to put players in any position. if you so inclined to try and run a guy on multiple positions. Say you want to have Travis Henry play offense defense. You know, you could put him in two places. I mean, in theory, he could be a starting receiver and a starting CB, right? I mean, why not? Two different sides of the field. It's Travis Hunter. Sorry, not Travis Henry. This is not true. I separated fullback, so that's not in there no more. Linebacker. So it says what's counted in linebacker. So what this does, the reason I have this and then these is these are required, but I think this just allows them to draft an extra linebacker. It could be any of the above. I think that's the idea there. According to my draft rules. And there are players that actually are LB, I think, that aren't considered OLB, MLB, or LB. And so these players are drafted separate as well, nose tackle, defensive tackle, even though they're just tackles or DTs. I think they're colluded together. So it just kind of confuses the situation. These are because, like I said, I'm not creating these positions myself. These are actually NFL. When I bring the players in, when I pull the statistics for these players to build their skills, they're built off of these values, because these are the values or the positions players come in with, and I got to draft from that. That said, I need to map. Maybe that's like draft positions, and then maybe I should change that to draft position, and then assigned position, and then assigned position group. Honestly, I feel like I should have these be my I'm struggling with this. It's just about doing a logical way to do it. You know, there's got to be a way to be logical. I want to be logical. I have position requirements, which is fine. These are for drafting, and it's in the leagues. And then the players have their own, and then the skills have their own, which is just all different. They all have their own set of requirements. I don't want to create another group is what I'm saying. I'm trying to avoid it because I've already got three. I've got this one, the skills, and the I don't know, action, position, action group. And then I got salary position and draft position. And then down here, I've got roster position group. And it's like, no, it's too much. Everybody gets grouped differently for every reason. I'm struggling with that. I'll get it. But the thing is, I have to create the right one. This to me seems like the ideal generalization group. So like if you look at offensive line, you'll still see DT, NT, DT, NT, and guards all together in the OL group. It's just a way to look at it and view them together. So on the offensive line, let's see, we got these guys. So really, you could see up to 2, 4, 5, 8 players. 8 players on this, which isn't that many. 4, 8. You have 52 players on your team. You can have more at some time. So it's like this is going to get bigger, but it'll probably be interesting to allow. It'll be cool because I'm going to allow people to draft up to during the off season up to a certain number of players, and they can try to they'll be able to run the preseason games and then make their cuts. I'm going to actually have weekly cuts. They have to decide who they're getting rid of. That'll make it interesting when you run your preseason games. You have to make cuts on your teams. You're going to have to go, oh God, who do I want? I got all these guys on my team. make those tough decisions, people. And the thing is, those preseason games will have an effect on how they play, and it'll tweak their stats and their experience and what they're doing, which could actually affect their team value and their team ranks, kind of thing. That'll be cool. But I've been called for dinner till next.